Are we live?
Still not. We are loading and we are live in a second. Yes, we can go.
We would like to welcome you back, and we hope you enjoyed the performances, the digital versions of the performances, as much as we enjoyed making them. And now I would like to invite Tom from Upstart Theatre to lead the conversation, these Q&A sessions. And I also would like to invite you all to pose your questions on the chat bar on the
YouTube.
link. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Yasmina and Ivica, and hello, everybody. It's a pleasure and a privilege to welcome the teams from Mugeze in Skopje and from Pathos Theater in Munich in Germany. Hello, everyone. It's great to see you. And thanks so much again for sharing both your digital shows tonight. What a joy to see them again. We were saying before the start of the screenings this evening, like that, of course, we would all much rather be meeting in person, either in the UK or in Skopje this weekend. But being able to come together on this digital platform is a great substitute. And thank you so much for being with us all. I said to everybody on the Zoom call that we're streaming over YouTube that normally we would invite everyone to introduce themselves, but of course you can see who we all are because our names are written under the small pictures of us that you can see. So we're going to jump in straight away with just a few questions about the two productions that we've been watching this evening. And I thought I'd start by asking this question of the Munich team, which is this evening we've been watching It's a Journey, the digital version of Agamemnon, the queer feministic poem. And I'd love to hear from all of you on the Munich team about how the piece of work that we've seen tonight grew out of the original stage production. What changed? What was new for this, and what was the experience like of taking this project online? I'm not going to pick on any one individual, but I wonder if there's someone on the Munich team who would like to respond to that barrage of questions.
Hi, my name is Angelica. Hello, it's great to see you. I start because I think, I am the artistic director of the Munich team together with Katja Kettner, and so I think for It's a Journey, we just try to find a structure from the masses of material we had. So we decided at the beginning not to make streams of the theater productions. They include two theater productions. It's Electra 2.0 and Agamemnon, a queer feministic visual poem, and we framed it. We also did the structure of 4 parts, and we framed it with the journey we did at the beginning with Astrid Behrens from Budapest to Skopje, and so it was so we decided to figure out a kind of road movie.
There's something really cool in those repeated images of the journey. I mean, it's called It's a Journey, but the appearance, especially of kind of traveling into Skopje and seeing some of the things that I remember you sharing, Angelica and Astrid, really early on in the process when we first all got together at Pathos Theater it must have been sometime in 2018. So like the footage of standing on the battlements of that old fort with the flag blowing in the wind. What did those images feel like to you? What did they mean to you to capture and to see. And can you tell us anything about Astrid, for example? Can you tell us, like, how did that journey, that first visit to Skopje, feel for you? I think you're still on mute, Astrid.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Not at all.
So looking back, I mean, these pictures, the first of these pictures are more than 2.5 years old. So we were working in Budapest, Angelika and also others of our team, and decided, being there in summer 2018, to travel southwards down to visit our colleagues in Skopje for the first time. I met them for the first time. And of course, there was no idea then that there might be a digital format to build 3 years later. But we drove down there, and Angelika started reading the Oresteia to me, driving, or she was driving, and I started filming our way down there. And so this is where we started collecting material, and also driving in Skopje and driving more southwards to Albania and then up again. And this is what made the frame for this film finally. And also other pictures that we collected during further traveling, for example, in wintertime, which was framing the Electra part now, these winter pictures in Skopje. And yeah, so this, for me, it really came together, all these pictures came together now in this digital format like a puzzle, like it should have been like that from the beginning on, which is, yeah, it felt like totally logic and fitting. Also, for example, finding these really very special place that Ivica and Jasmina showed us when we were in wintertime in Skopje, this Museum for Contemporary Art, which is situated on a hill over Skopje, and which is in winter and in summer and in sunset and in different moods can be seen in the film. And so, and we called it, it got the name in our team, we called it the Skopje Acropolis. And this is really like a sign, like an icon for a hidden place, for a waiting place for democracy and art. This is what this place, this picture of this place means to me, which yeah, feels like a kind of center of the project for me.
Thank you, Astrid. There's something lovely about that idea of democracy as a hidden place. I remember talking with Jasmina and with Christina when we met in London. I mean, this again is 2 years ago, in 2019, if I remember rightly. And we had a long conversation, which we recorded on the Chorus Project podcast, about democracy being something that happens elsewhere. And so that image, Astrid, that you describe of the Skopje I can't say it, the Skopje Acropolis, looking over the city and being like the hidden place for democracy, seems to chime with a lot of what the Skopje team were creating in Oresteia Oresteia 1 quarter. For the Skopje team, when you started to think about making this digital version of the show, how did it develop out of the show that you previously made for the live stage?
Yeah, it was maybe somehow from the beginning when we start all of this project. in my mind, it was always that we will try to make some kind of minimalistic, minimalistic expression, minimalistic expression through our show, and that was from the beginning. And also we tried to do it that in our live performance. And when all of this Corona crisis starts, I immediately know that we will film that in a way that you watched before. And I talked with all of the crew and all of the actors, and they were also agreed to do that. And it was very for me it was very how to say, I was very happy that we will also film our performance, and we will have this kind of futurette film theater product. And yeah, that's from my side. Maybe Yasmin or someone else from our team can add something to this.
Well, it's very interesting that, for example, the scenes from Orestaya translated very well on the silver screen. The actors played that like masterfully, like genius. And it was very focused, and all the emotion was here and everything. The thing that was we had doubts about was how to translate the chorus into this digital version, because in the live version, all that chorus did was interact with the audience live, and that was like the basis of all our chorus. So when we like turn off live, how do we translate it into digital version? How do we make that interaction with the audience? But I think that the scenes from Orestaya were like so strong that like they were the main motor of the whole digital version. I would like to invite, because finally we have actors and the scenographer from our team, I would like to invite them to tell like the differences in their tasks from the live version to the digital version, their experience.
And expressions.
Okay, I don't believe that I felt a lot of differences between the staged version and the digital version, probably because of the several things. We were filming the digital version in the same place where the performance took place. So anyhow, during the rehearsals for the performance, we were mainly focused on the internal world of the characters. It was not very much expressive. So it was, and what Ivica was asking from us, it was some kind of film acting. So just not very much expressive, but very much from the inside. So I don't think that I felt very big problem. And I must say that I am amazed the way that he tried to transfer the staged version into digital. I think that minimal expression is the only way that we could do, so that it looks very good. If we took some more realistic approach, it wouldn't have been this good. That's my opinion.
That's so interesting to hear, because one thing I feel watching the digital version is like it's so stylized, and like I can't. This is going to sound like a very strange thing to say, Dragana, but I can't. I find it quite strange seeing you in color, having watched the whole performance in black and white, like the precision of the image that you've all created in the digital version. It is really, really, really striking, and that minimalism that you've been aiming for really really pings through. Something that I've really enjoyed about tonight, watching these two pieces paired together, is there's this beautiful collision of different styles happening, where you have this kind of beautiful riot of different colors and images that exist within It's a Journey. And then when we're in Oristaya 1/4, we're in black and white, and then we burst into these moments of color. There's a lovely tension of watching those two back to back, and I thoroughly enjoyed that myself. It strikes me that in creating the Chorus project, one of the first things that we talked about, and that we've talked about all the way through, is that these shows in their different ways are interrogations of, or expressions of, the theme of democracy and justice. And I wondered, I've had conversations with many of you over the last 3 years about what we mean when we talk about democracy. And I guess I wanted to ask everybody, has the experience of working on the Chorus project since 2018, when we started working on it fully, since that time, has your understanding of what democracy is changed? What is democracy to all of us today? That's what I'm asking, I think. I can see Yasmina and Ivica reaching for microphones and thinking about something. I'd quite like to see what you're thinking.
Well, for us, I think that, for me, I cannot speak maybe for everyone, but I think although our conclusion when we made the whole research, and then we constructed the chorus, our conclusion was in a way that it was very pessimistic, but from this point of view, it's optimistic, because from this point of view, we repeated this a lot of times, that our conclusion was that the democracy cannot dwell in a system where there are no fundamental postulates of law enforcement, which enables limitless power to the ruling class, and that we cannot discuss democracy in 21st century Europe when whole territories that geographically belong to Europe are not part of the Union, adding the fact that the neoliberal logic of ruling in the Union itself persistently deepens the social discrepancy. And this is what we wrote as a conclusion when we did the performance. And since then, I think now with the crisis and with the pandemic, we also saw how these inequalities not deepened, that the solidarity we all expected that will arise from this crisis didn't happen. So we are just sitting here on the periphery waiting for the vaccines, for example, forever.
I can just add something from my point of view. I think I don't know. Maybe I know from my readings what is democracy, but I still don't have the feeling what is at all. And after all of this journey of 3 years, I think that I'm still on the beginning to discover what is really democracy. And I think that tomorrow in our artistic session at 5 o'clock, we will try to find this question again and again, but through this artistic thinking. So yeah, that will be for me for now.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's really striking, that conclusion, Yasmina, that you refer to in the performance being something that we're seeing playing out in our different countries and between our different countries in a really powerful way. For people on the German team, how have you guys found your understanding, your relationship with the idea of democracy change during the last few years as we've been making this project?
Yeah, I thought today the first idea for the project, I think it was earlier, it was not, it was the start was in 2018 we got the foundation, but we started to talk I remember in November 2016, and it was the vote when Trump became president. So this 4 years of where we could watch daily how democratic values are beaten with all that is possible, and they disappear more and more. You could watch it day by day. And then I thought it was also the huge phase that is not still over of terrorist attacks that had the whole world in hold it under pressure. And now the pandemic, it's this mixture of how privacy and politics go together, what's also a big topic in the Oristaya, or do not go together. So I can't really explain how democratic values changed, but there is a big transformation. And to my opinion, it's not only that democratic values transform at the moment, systems transform in all ways, and not only the democratic system.
I'd like to add something at this point, because I actually do have a very different feeling. 3 years ago, for me, critiquing the system of democracy was still important. And now I fear for this system. And so I still do have the same points of critique, of course, that they didn't vanish, but I think that I really, yeah, it's really emotional that how I react to these masses of people in Germany standing up and behaving undemocratic. And also in Austria, I'm in Vienna right now, so it's not only in Germany, but I think for me, Germany and Austria is a little bit different, but also Austria, but especially Germany, was trying so hard to be a really interesting democratic country in the middle of Europe, and somehow it made sense and it worked. And in this last year, it doesn't make sense at all to me. And I think for me, Germany really lost a strong democratic voice because of all those people standing up against democracy. That's how I see it, what is happening on the streets. Yeah, so big change for me, actually.
Just we just had a small earthquake now in Macedonia, but everything is fine. We are okay. We can continue.
Good. Yeah, I think there's the ground is literally shaking. Everyone's okay. Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, there's something, just to echo really what Barbara has said. I think we started having conversations about this project, as Angelica said, back in the autumn of 2016. And of course, that was after, here in the UK, we'd had the referendum about leaving the European Union. And I don't want to rehearse the many conversations that we've had about that too much tonight. But I think that there is something really interesting that we've seen happen here about a shift in pluralistic values, a shift in the idea of Britain as a multicultural society, which is something that even you know, relatively recently in 2012, when we hosted the Olympic Games, was something that we, even under our right-wing government then, wanted to celebrate. And we've seen this week with the situation with Meghan Markle, for example, that racism is very much alive and well in this country. What's the situation now in North Macedonia? What's the feeling about the movement of the society right now for you guys?
I don't know what to say about this. Only because like we became aware like how unimportant we are, and it is a point of view to like very hopeless standing point. So maybe I shouldn't continue to talk about this.
Yes, as Jasmina mentioned, it's a little bit tricky again here, and I think it will be forever until we have this kind of, how to say, that all of these parties rule the system in a semi-criminal way, and we will have again and again the same thing that we try to incorporate in our production. But I hope that young generation will totally totally destroy this system, and they will try to build something new. And there is some signs of hope here and there. There is some youngsters that try to, how to say, to jump all of these crazy things and try to push their ideas through the European way of thinking, or through the worldwide way of thinking. And yeah, that is that from now. In the same time, we are a little bit depressed and hopeless because of all of this crisis with Corona, and we are like beggars. We just wait for somebody to give us something, because everybody forgot us. But that is because of our ruling system. I think personally, people are very aware and very know what they want and what they can do. But when you have this kind of ruling class, it's a shame. It's a shame.
And I want to add something. I'm questioning theater because the theaters are closed at the moment. And for me, theater is a public space, and it is a space of dialogue. And from this side, I take an utopian idea still. Yes. And we had to talk last time about the black and white and the complexity of democracy. And I really realized in our last talk, theater is colorful. Theater is a space of dialogue. Theater is a space of ambivalence, where nothing is only black or white. And I'm really missing this dialogue in our societies at the moment, because I think we can work in this field, and it's missing because we also talked about the represented and the underrepresented voices a lot in all our performances. And we said, okay, we ask who's the chorus. And at the moment, I feel a bit like, I said it in my lecture some weeks ago, it's so noisy. But who is noisy at the moment? And that's the question, do I get depressed or not? If I remember that we have a lot of underrepresented voices, then maybe I can hold on to say it's a utopian body, because then I focus more. And I realized in these 3 years that I'm more and more focused really to question also our theater structures. Of course, I can question the whole world, and I can question the word democracy, but maybe I should start in our own house and then try to change there something, and then to go with this in dialogue, you know, to use this public space we have in this moment, for instance.
How do you imagine, Katja, do you have a sense of like what the changes would be like in the utopian vision of the world for you in theatre? Like what might look different? Are you in a place where you can say that?
Well, at the moment, I really work for this year about the topic rage and anger. And then I realized I don't want to represent all the movements you talked about. These a lot of people are on the street against all the things. And I said, okay, well, we need to have an idea, how can we shift and change this? And then I think, okay, theater is playful, and if you find a playful way to show that the world is not black and white, and theater is the place we can talk about it, we can try. Yes, it's like fail and fail better. Yes, like Beckett said, yes, fail again, fail better. It's a try, of course, because I don't have any answer. But if I'm not any longer trying to fail, then it's over. Then the game is really over, and that's the thing. I don't know the English word for Selbstermächtigung, Zornumwandlungen. Maybe can someone help me? Empowerment in changing, shifting the anger into something positive. Something like that. I try at the moment.
That's a really good word, and my German isn't good enough to directly translate it, but it sounds like you're talking about the idea of like almost like redirecting energy, or that there's an English word that was in the back of my head, but it's gone. But yeah, finding ways to sort of transcend the despair of the moment and look towards the future through play and experiment and joy, I think is really interesting. I don't know if you guys have, sorry, Barbara, please.
May I just directly say something to Katja, please, just because it comes to my mind immediately. I want to use this situation also to connect between us. Because when I was watching earlier the start of tonight's festival, I wanted to listen to what Katja would say, and also how you introduce these things. But somehow the internet didn't really work well. But I don't know how it was for you, but I saw Katja. And it took me some minutes to realize this was not it. I didn't hear anything. But your poses were like, I thought it's a video in the first minute. And I was really fascinated by your performance. Then realizing, okay, it's glitches, but anyway, it was great, and you were great, and then I heard you talking later. But what happened was that I was interested in these breaks, in these strange silences, in these body glitches, and so that's what I wanted to say, that it felt really playful for me what you were doing, and I could add something about different actors. I mean, not actors in a Schauspieler sense, but in an actor theory sense, and not only human actors that would be great to come to the stage. And I think that's what we're doing, or starting to do with this festival anyway. Yeah, but thanks.
Thanks, Barbara. Yeah, Ivica and I were on our WhatsApp group while Katja was while we were playing the video, Katja, and talking about the piece of video art that we'd accidentally created. And I think there's something about the theatre space and the artistic space being one of play, and that level of play can be deeply serious, or it can be as light as air. But I think one thing that I've really enjoyed about tonight and about the festival we did a few weeks ago back in Munich is just having these spaces in which we can throw ideas around and see the inside of each other's artistic heads and share that with the audiences in Munich and in the UK and in Skopje and wherever else people are watching from now. I don't know when we're all going to be able to be in a theatre again, and I think that will probably be different from place to place. But I think tonight is just one example of thousands that are out there of small actions that people are taking, whether they're professional artists or not, to try and bridge the gap that's been left behind through the lack of artistic spaces, through people not being able to meet. So thank you all so much for being part of this conversation tonight. We are going to have a lot more conversations as this weekend goes on. I wonder if we've brought ourselves to a sort of natural conclusion at this point, unless there's anything that people would like to add. I know that there are people who have been in the conversation and haven't had a chance to say much yet. So yeah, I guess perhaps to bring this conversation to a close, where are there spaces for all of us? And this wasn't on the list of questions I sent round, I apologize for that. But where, for all of us, where do we think that hope lies now for the future? I can offer a thought of mine if that starts people thinking. I think that in the last months, we have seen the closing of borders, we've seen vaccine nationalism, we've seen people at the kind of power politics level, at the top levels of many societies, trying to show their power through creating oppositions and through attempting to start culture wars. But for me, something that has been very inspiring to see and to talk to other people about, including some of the people in this conversation now, but to see the capacity that people have for organizing small but and highly local actions, whether those are organizing food banks or even picking up the shopping for their neighbors and sharing it with people. Or I spoke to someone earlier this week who was an artist who hadn't been able to work due to the pandemic, but had been organizing people making murals and doing small artistic interventions in their local area. And I wonder if the thing that makes me excited about the possibility of the future doesn't come from national politics, it doesn't come from international politics, it comes from the capacity of small groups of people to make apparently small change, but then to talk to other people about it and to share their learning and to share their best practice. And I guess one thing about the Chorus project is that we've had, more than 3 years of generating ideas, having conversations, learning from each other about how we work together and how one another works. And so it's not just about, as much as I've enjoyed the creative work that we've shared tonight and that we'll be sharing over the rest of this weekend, I actually wonder if it's the best example that we are on the Chorus project is of creatively minded people, and all people are creatively minded to some extent, being able to have honest and open conversations with one another. So that for me, that's my thing. It's this kind of conversation that is most important about the kind of project that we're involved in, even more so, I would have said, than the work itself, than the artistic output itself. Does anyone else agree with that, or is that just me?
Yeah, this is this, I think, a very important point, what I also learned and have seen the last month, that things happen beyond results. And the process is also the small things that happen between us. It happens beyond results and beyond stages. This is also a chance that that I can see in this Corona crisis for us, for our creative work.
I mean, I think we need the stages too. Yeah, absolutely. I think we need the stages. I miss the stages, but I wonder whether the stages were just the thing that led towards something rather than the thing itself. Sorry, I'm not being very clear, which is always terrible when you're trying to chair a discussion. Even so, sorry, what were you going to say?
I just want to read something that we have on our YouTube channel. David Galloway writes, "As ever, sometimes much more can be said with no words at all." Beautiful said. And also because Christina is out of our Zoom session, but she also write to us on YouTube. She say, "We just had 2 earthquakes, and it remind me of the big devastating on the one that happened in 1963 in Skopje. And what happened is that many countries from the world helped to rebuild it, and many famous artists donate artworks to the Museum of Contemporary Art Skopje, which stands as a symbol of solidarity. The building from the Munich's performance video may be something we can hold on, solidarity." Really, we had 2 earthquakes during our session, and it's a little bit scary. In the same time, it's a little bit shaky, but everything is rock and roll.
Thank you. I think that's a beautiful point to bring things to a close. And talking of connections between people, tomorrow afternoon, we're running this small direct actions workshop, which I don't know if everyone here can make it to that session, but for anyone who's watching, the idea is all about bringing people together to talk about how we can build relationships, how we can continue to work together creatively with solidarity with one another outside the complexities and restrictions of large-scale long-form projects. So if people are around for that, we can pop I think we can pop a link to that in the chat fairly easily on YouTube. I feel like I should know how to do that, but I don't yet. I'll try and figure it out while someone else is talking. And yeah, I feel like that's probably a good place to bring things up. Ivica, did you want to jump in?
I think, yeah, if everybody, I think it's okay for tonight, and I'm very happy and glad that I'm again with all of you guys and girls, and it's always for me, it's how to say, it's a pleasure, but not only a pleasure, it's in the same time it's a new journey when I have a chance to talk with you and try to develop some new things. Thank you for everything to everybody, and I hope you will enjoy tomorrow our discussion on the panel, and then after that our workshop session, and in the evening we will watch our 2 parts from the UK team and Graz team, and we will have again talks and Q&As. Thank you so much to everybody.
And see you tomorrow in greater numbers.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Good night.
Ciao.